Good morning, everyone. Welcome to all the new members of the group. Thank you for joining. I wanted to create a quick video for you guys. I actually just created one before and accidentally deleted it. Damn quarantine vibes. I'm just going to pin it on that. But I actually created a video just to answer some of the questions that I've been having pop through the group. It's really great to see a lot of people engaging in the group. I've had a few people message me some private questions as well, which has been really good as well. So I wanted to try and create a very quick Q&A, your questions answered sort of video, just to give you guys some immediate guidance. I'm all about, providing as much free information as I can to help provide you guys with some clarity, because I know how much misinformation is out there, or even just the body of information out there can be so overwhelming when you're going through different problems with your dogs, or maybe you've just got a dog and don't know where to start. So my aim is just to be able to help you guys with some free information, to give you guys a bit of a supportive group that you can go back and forth on, ask some questions, have that guidance and have that support. And I hope this is that place that you guys can do that. So let's jump straight into the questions. But before I do that, I just wanted to say thank you again for joining the group. I'm also considering doing a fortnightly Q&A. So if this is something that you think you might be interested in, please let me know in the comments below. This is something that I just want to do to be able to help you guys in my group that, are going through different things. I know there's a lot of you that have just got puppies in, or have had dogs for a while but are just going through some different problems at the moment, maybe due to COVID, or maybe they've just been there for some time and you don't know how to troubleshoot it or problem solve. I really want to be able to provide that space to give you guys some immediate help and advice, but it will be shorter answers, okay? So if you do want more in-depth answers, or even, a private chat with me one-on-one, I do also offer virtual Zoom calls as well, so we can set that up if you need it. That's just another option that is paid for $55 for half an hour, but this is a free place where you can get some immediate help. So be sure to let me know if you do want to, or you would like me to offer a fortnightly Q&A, and I'd be happy to do that for you guys, but please let me know in the comments below. All right, let's get into the questions. So I've had one question come through in regards to a bulldog that has been growling and snapping when in the bathroom, particularly after he soils in there. So I think this was you, Vanessa. So I just wanted to speak to you quickly and let you know that I'm sorry you're going through all of that. It can be very challenging and scary when you've got a dog that starts to show some really worrying behaviors, especially that you've only had him for 3 weeks. So one thing I really wanted to speak to you about first was, what does the rest of the day look like? Now, I know this doesn't particularly answer your question right off the bat, but this is a question that I ask a lot of people that are going through challenging times with their dogs. The structure throughout the day is so important. And I noticed that you said you do have him sleep in the room with you. Now, for a lot of people, I know we love to have our dogs with us and up on our beds or up on the couch. But for dogs that we don't really know too well, even for dogs that we do know well, they can really take advantage of that, especially if we don't have that trust and respect in place first. Okay, and that's what structure in the house provides. It provides a very clear relationship dynamic with our dogs, that we're in control of the resources, we're in control of the decisions in the house, and that our dogs simply don't need to make up their mind about what they want to do. This can also lead or delve into people that are struggling with reactivity outside. Very rarely do we see behaviors isolated to just one thing, like reactivity outside. We typically see it stemming from a lot of other areas in the house as well. And the same applies for you. So although you might be seeing the growling and snarling just in that one incident there, I'm probably right when I say that there's probably very little structure in the home. Maybe he's not being held accountable in certain moments, and he has a lot of freedom at the moment. He's up on the bed, he's in your space, and although it might not seem like a bad thing that he's up on the bed or is in your room, this can be a very high luxury for dogs. It's like a high priority treat in a sense. They know that it's a valuable resource. And what happens is, if our dogs are allowed into that space before we've built trust and respect with our dogs first, we can start to see a lot of unwanted behaviors starting to creep up, like growling, snarling, resource guarding, whatever it is. But I also wanted to err on the caution of safety when I say that please make sure, if you're worried, you do rule out anything medical. If there's any concerns with the bladder, he's in pain somehow, please make sure you rule that out, because I'm not a vet. I don't have the medical knowledge. And if that is something that you're cautious of, please definitely check that out. I would veer to say that it's probably more behavioral, just from what you were saying, that he's allowed in the room and in your space. And especially only having him for 3 weeks, you know, it's very common when dogs get comfortable that you start to see a lot of really worrying behaviors or unwanted behaviors starting to pop up if there hasn't been that structure, leadership, or accountability in the house. Okay, so to answer your question, I would love for you to use your dog's daily food and to start muzzle training immediately. Now, this doesn't have to be a long-term solution, but this is something just for immediate safety for you, that you know you've got a way to be able to move him without that worry of, is he going to bite me? Is he going to snarl? Is he going to growl? You know that you're protected in that way. And that's something that I would suggest doing, you know, as of today if you can. All right. And I would also suggest the Baskerville muzzle as well. You can get them, I think, from any pet shops. If not, just order one online. They might be a little bit expensive, but they're definitely worth it. Your dog can still eat through it, drink through it. For bulldogs, there might be a better muzzle available for you. I'd have to look into that. But yeah, when you go to the vets, definitely ask if there's a muzzle they would suggest as well. Okay, so muzzle train your dog and also crate train. So this isn't going to solve the direct issue that you're having in the house directly, but it's going to avoid that situation from happening again. And I'm really cautious of advice that I give, you know, just over video like this, but I know that I would definitely suggest you to crate train your dog. This is for any dog really, but especially in your case when you've got a fairly fresh dog in the house, you really want to be able to have your dog understand that you're in control of the resources, that you're in control of the decisions that, you know, that you make in the house, that he doesn't need to make up his mind about things that may worry him or concern him, okay? And from this, you're going to start to build a relationship with your dog where he understands that you're in charge. And typically you won't see these sorts of things happening, because from the sounds of it, it sounds very much like a relationship issue that's going on where he's learnt that he can challenge you and push you in certain areas. So be really mindful of that and start to crate train your dog also with his daily food. Feed him in there and have him sleep in there as well. Now, I know that this is probably not the most fun thing to do when you just get a dog. I understand that, but it's also for safety. It's for your dog understanding that they've got their own space as well. Dogs love crates, even if they might be a little bit unsure at the start. If you've got more of a nervous dog, they learn to love it. They know it's their own space. You also know that the room is then your boundary, and it's very different inviting a dog into your space than having your dog in there and then feeling the need to protect, guard, or, you know, set a boundary if you're coming too close to them or things like that. So I hope this helps you. Immediate advice, muzzle train and crate train. If you need more in-depth, you know, advice moving forward, I suggest we probably chat one-on-one after this or at a different time, but I hope this gives you some immediate help. Good luck. All right, the next question is in regards to a GSD that I think likes to run away at every opportunity that he or she gets. And then what really struck me in the comment was that you said, you know, he even looks back and checks in to see if you're watching as well, which I thought was quite funny, because I know this happens a lot with our dogs where they almost learn it to be a game. So dogs love keep away, they love chase. And what happens is when they're running away, you know, it's almost a reward for us to chase them. But I understand why you would be doing that, especially in an area where you don't know what's around. There might be lots of other distractions. It might be near a road. So for the safety side of things, you obviously need to chase your dog to get them. But what I would suggest for you is that you really work on teaching your dog recall. So as opposed to having to chase your dog your dog understands that they need to come back to you and that it's a reward to come back to you. And if not, over time, a consequence is applied for not coming back to you. Okay, so I would start doing this in the house with just a regular leash and food. Start in a low distraction environment first. Teach your dog that when they come to you, you say yes, and you pair that with a reward. If that's food or if that's a toy, whatever's motivating for your dog, you'll be the best judge of that. And then build up to doing that in different rooms in the house, and then move forward to out in the backyard, out in the front yard, and build up to higher and higher distractions as you go. But a lot of people assume that, when we get a dog, they'll automatically know to come to us. And it's just not the case. We really do need to teach our dogs how to recall back to us. It's a very important and necessary skill for our dogs to learn, especially, when we've got a young dog that's got a lot of energy, that, is very stimulated outside. We want to be able to teach them that we're the most valuable resource and that they need to come back to us. We're in control again of the decisions in the environment, and that, when they come back to us, we can then reward them and let them go back out. But we need to make sure that we've got that trust and respect there in place first, so that they learn, no matter what's outside, what might excite them, make them nervous, that coming back to us is, the right decision. So definitely work on that inside the house first, because all commands should be taught in a low distraction environment first. You can't just go to a park and start teaching your dog how to recall in a very busy environment. You need to teach him or her fairly in a low distraction environment first. I always say, if you've got a cement patch or something like that, that can also be a very good place to start. There's less scent and less, stimulation there, I guess, for the dog. Whereas doing it on grass, it can be a little bit more challenging. So inside the house or on like a cement patch is great. And then build up to working on outside around more distractions. If you have the luxury of owning an e-collar, you can then layer this over the command that you've already taught your dog. But don't just buy an e-collar and start pressing buttons. I definitely would not suggest doing this. This is if you've, worked with a trainer or you've got the experience with the tool yourself. You can use the tone button on the e-collar to teach your dog that when they hear that, to come back to you. And this, in my opinion, is the best tool for off-leash reliability. If that's a goal that you have moving forward, that you can recall your dog around lots of different distractions from a far distance away. So this is something you could ultimately work towards as well. But for now, just work on recall with a long line around, limited distractions first, and then build up and up and up using your dog's food. And you'll see some pretty amazing results start to happen all across the board. And I also wanted to say really good work with, not having your dog bolt out the door. That's something we definitely encourage as well, that the door is a threshold. It's like a boundary, and we really want to make sure that every time we go to the door with our dogs, that they learn to sit, to be calm, and to look at us, to engage with us prior to going outside. Because this shows us that they're in a mindset where they understand that we're in charge, we're in control, and they're in a really healthy mindset before going outside around lots of different distractions. If we're allowing our dogs to leave the house in a very excitable state of mind or nervous state of mind, then we're going to have less likelihood of recalling them or getting any sort of attention from them when they're outside. All right, I hope this helps you. I've got lots of free videos on my platforms as well, so feel free to dive into those too. And then I had one more question come through in regards to how many commands should we teach our dogs a day? So this is for people that might just be getting a new dog, and I know it can be super overwhelming. You're like, oh, I want to do everything. I want to teach them everything all at once. And it really depends on your dog and the amount of time that you have. So if you've got lots of time, why not teach your dog one command in the morning and then one command at night? But from my opinion, I find that just working on one at a time is really good. Work that until they're fluent and reliable, and then start adding more commands moving forward on top of that. And then the really cool bit is that you can start to string those commands together, where maybe your dog has learnt recall, which is coming to you, and then you can add in the sit from there. So recall to a sit or recall to a down. And you can start to almost build a sentence out of these different commands that you've taught your dog, like heel into a sit, to break, to release them off, to then recall them back to you into a sit. It ends up being a very simple language that you and your dog learn that provides clarity for your dog. It's easy for you, and it's just fun to be able to know that, you know, working on one step at a time with your dog can build to a lot of freedom ultimately over the course of your dog's life. So to answer your question, it really depends on you, your dog, and your time. So if you've got the time to work on a couple a day, then do that. But no need to rush. One at a time is perfectly fine. And then start to add more and more, and then start proofing it around higher distractions, and you'll be good to go. All right, that's all for this week. I do want to start doing this fortnightly. So again, please let me know in the comments below if this has provided you with any value. If you would like me to do some fortnightly Q&As, please let me know and I will do my best to make that happen. All right, take care everyone. I hope you're having a great day, and bye for now.